604, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. Starting off your Friday morning at 72 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge, getting ready to rock this show out, get you ready for regional baseball this weekend at the Box. In fact, that's part of our guest list. We're going to have Hunt Palmer coming on at 8:35 to talk a little regional baseball. Also on the guest list this morning, we got Kyrin Minor from Lake Urchin Care coming up at 6:50. We get the folks from the Pennington Biomedical Research Center coming up at 7:35. We got State Representative Mike Bayham at 8:15. Can't wait to talk with Bayham. Obviously want to get an overall, 10,000-foot view of the legislative session with 2 weeks to go. But during our Legally Served segment with Attorney Franz Borghardt a couple days ago, we were talking about a bill that Bayham's got that wants to put a better enforcement end on the AG's office. So we'll dig in on that there. Right now, though, we start you off with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Number 5 starts us off not with today, but with Sunday. Sunday is June 1st. June 1st is also known as the beginning of the Atlantic hurricane season. As it stands right now, the National Hurricane Center has no activity on their map, so at least the first week of hurricane season will be a quiet one.
Number 4.
Yesterday, we told you that the bear spotted up in Central posed no threat to the public. Well, on Thursday, enforcement agents and biologists with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries set out to catch the bear that had been catching attention on social media. LDWF said it is possible the bear running around Baton Rouge near Hartley Bay Sports Park is the same bear as the one that was seen in Central on Wednesday. They set out a trap with bait. It was baited with donuts, believe it or not.
Number 3.
Southeastern Conference eliminated their escalating fine system for students rushing the field in court. Instead, they're going to impose a flat $500,000 static fine. This according to ESPN. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey said the motivation came from punishing the field rushing, regardless of it being the first time or the 18th time. Interesting choice of numbers right there if you're a Tiger fan.
Number 2.
Thursday, officials gave an update regarding the search for 2 remaining missing inmates who escaped from the Orleans Parish Prison earlier this month, with the current reward for any information leading to their arrests more than doubling. It now moves up to $50,000 for said information.
Number 1.
Skeletal remains were found in a canal behind an airline highway business. BRPD said yesterday. The bones were found Wednesday morning off airline between Evangeline and Prescott Road. The LSU Faces Lab was called to the scene. They confirmed that it was human remains that were found. Beyond that, we have no further details. What's trending this morning, John?
Well, a federal appeals court on Thursday temporarily delayed Wednesday's court order blocking President Donald Trump's tariffs, reinstating them at least for the time being.
And yet this time nobody went, crazy, huh?
Right.
It's tariffs are on, the markets get scared, everybody sells off. Tariffs are off, the market is reinvigorated and everybody buys. And now with this one, the stay for a couple weeks on tariffs, and I haven't heard the residual yet. Maybe it'll happen today. Maybe we'll lose our minds again today, and
possibly
we'll all tank the economy together.
Oh my goodness! You know what's tanking, Brian?
What?
Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN all took a beating during the month of April, with all 3 networks recording declines in total viewers and the adults 25 to 54.
Okay, you're going to start to see this a lot more, as I understand that the numbers are that we have so much news fatigue. I'm sorry, let me say that again, but with a giant graphic on the screen that says breaking, because everything is breaking.
That it is,
and we're all worn out on it.
Yeah. It's been a long
breaking.
Year. It feels that way, right? Like the past year has been that way.
Oh, dude, this
just the past year. It was just like
I defy you to go back in recent history, and find me the time where there weren't 20 graphics telling you how important it is. If you look away for just one quick second, if you turn that channel for 1 second, your life is in peril, John.
That's it.
Absolute peril.
They call that FOMO.
Breaking! Yeah.
The fear of missing out.
Yep, that's right.
We're all hooked. Hey, LSU will play its first 2 home games of the 2025 season at night in Death Valley. That's the home
Yeah.
opener against Louisiana Tech on September 6th and the conference opener on September 13th and week 3 against the Florida Gators. Both will kick off at 6:30
All right.
p.m.
And the big ABC is picking up that Florida game, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like playing Florida that early in the year. Florida,
I
okay,
mean-
playing Florida it's supposed to be like the first or second weekend of October, thereabouts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still not used to the way the conference has been revamped and whatnot. I miss the old like SEC West where Florida was our cross conference rival, but you're starting off your conference season with Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me State in the second weekend in September. Let's get some get a little traction in our shoes
Right.
before we play the likes of the Florida Gators.
Exactly.
Playing them right out the blocks like that. I don't know. It's gonna be a good game this year, by the way. That Napier Kelly battle. At least one more year in the Napier Kelly battle. Something's gonna give after this year, though, because both guys were hired the same year, and Napier coming from Louisiana over to there. You had all the people. Oh, hire the Louisiana guy. Go to ULF and get your guy. And then, like once he gets to Florida, he's now already in the hot seat. This year should be starting in the hot seat. And then Brian Kelly, same thing. This is his best team. I mean, Brian Kelly has shown more earlier success than Billy Napier, but if you're not in the playoff after this year, that seat's going to get real warm, real fast. It's not hot yet because we're going to owe him too much money, but the seat will get warm real fast for sure. 611 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Top stories and trending brought to you by the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. Hop on the website if you don't mind. Give it a look. Where do you normally fly to? If you've got business in our nation's capital, I love telling you about that flight every day. But Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Charlotte, North Carolina, these are all direct flights that you can take as of this morning. I should say those are arrivals. Departure-wise, nope, same list. Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Charlotte. Scroll down a little bit. Add Washington, D.C. into the mix. If you fly to these places regularly, you've got direct flights at flybtr.com. Now, if you fly beyond there, of course, they've got the connecting flights once you get there. But if you're starting off with, let's just say those cities, you're good to go at flybtr.com. So much more convenient to use a local business. So much more convenient to stay in our own backyard. Flybtr.com if you want to check it out. When you take things in when making your trip plans for your trips, take in the whole experience. Is it easier to haul all the way down to New Orleans and pay for parking, or is it easier to Uber from your house to the airport? Flybtr.com. You can take in all the information. Get a better, if you'll pardon the pun, 10,000-foot view right there. All right, quick break. Come back. We'll talk sports next. I need my coffee. Damn. Yeah, just more and more tired every day. It's taking more and more to knock it out of me. Should stop for a Red Bull on the way in. .616 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Coming up about 6:30 p.m. tonight in Alec Box Stadium. Dallas Baptist taking on Rhode Island in the regionals. Probably not the biggest deal to us right now because 2 p.m. in Alec Box Stadium, it's LSU taking on Little Rock. The Tigers. By the way, Condon popped down the hall this morning to remind us that it was, did he say 35 or 37 years ago? 35 years ago today?
Yeah.
LSU's first appearance in the College World Series. And in that first appearance, we lost to Loyola Marymount and then followed it up 2 days later by beating Maine. And then I guess beyond that, we would have gone back and lost again. But big anniversary as it was LSU's first time in the College World Series. All right. As far as this year's regional, you got LSU and LSU and Little Rock coming up at 2:00 this afternoon. Dallas Baptist and Rhode Island playing in the game that follows that. Of course, everything is weather permitting as of right now, but we'll get to that part in a second. Let's start off with the regional today. LSU's first game since last Saturday's loss to Ole Miss over in the SEC tournament in Hoover. Coach Jay Johnson says his guys, they're ready to go.
I think being fresh and rested is good. I think being at home, the crowd, postseason, I think the energy will be really high with our team.
You know who else thinks being fresh is good? Andre 3000 from Outcast.
I was literally about to say the same
What?
thing.
So fresh it's so clean.
Literally about to say the same.
LSU went 30-5 at home this season. That bodes well for the Tigers. It is a real advantage.
This team's played really, really well at home, and I think they're excited to be back here. I mean, we were on the road the last week of the regular season and then on the road for the SEC tournament, so we haven't played here in a while. And so I think they're excited to be here and looking forward to taking advantage of that.
So as we all know, Johnson treats the regular season like a 56-game playoff. So when playoffs are actually here, it's the team knows they can handle that added pressure.
I talk a lot about staying in character, playing in character. When you've treated the season like the postseason, then you don't have to change when you get to the postseason. And it's been a formula for a long time that has helped our teams. And I'm hopeful that it'll help this team.
Like we said, start time is supposed to be 2 p.m. It'll be at our sister station, Eagle 98.1, right down the hallway. Now, that is, of course, weather permitting. You heard the forecast from Emma Kate Cowan earlier right before the show started. We do have a 40% chance of rain today. And what we're looking at here is if that rain were to roll through, it's likely going to be mid-game. That 40% chance of rain is showing up in the hour-by-hour forecast at 4 p.m. And that's it. Just at 4 p.m. After that, it scales right back. So, you know how Coach Jay Johnson rolls. I mean, if there's a chance that there's going to be spit in the wind, he's going to postpone things. I can't imagine a scenario where that would happen with this game unless that 4 p.m. moves up by about an hour and a half or so. All right, it is 6. Oh, by the way, LSU, if they win, they'll play the winner of Dallas Baptist and Rhode Island. Here's the Fox Business Report. Costco. 35, you said? 35 years ago? 39.
today, and then they won Sunday. Hey, babe, you know what they did today in New Orleans? 1930. I got it written down. Dedicated municipal auditorium.
Oh, wow.
Dude, that website is my favorite website ever.
Oh, I love it.
It's awesome.
I love it. I don't always report from it because so much of it is just like my own memories.
No, that's pretty much.
It's
a lot of people don't get with.
Yeah. Hey, can you grab the part where Moon says put him on the toilet committee or the poop committee? Just put him.
Just that part.
Just put him on the toilet committee or the poop committee. I'm about to light Rocco's ass up. By the way, there are no other Louisiana teams in the regionals.
So what I have is, and put them on the toilet bowl committee or the poop committee.
Right.
Kept it tight. Yep. That's all. Also have those the weather music.
Oh, the one.
Yeah.
That guy's good, huh?
He is good. I was like, man.
So
This guy's
look,
killing
don't put emphasis on that at all today.
Already
Take
did
care.
it.
Well, that's all for Monday because it's gonna be the
Yeah,
beginning of
but I just
hurricane
wanted to
season.
dub it.
But
Just dub
like,
it.
okay, so every break coming back Monday, I'm gonna want music like that. They've got a treasure trove of it on YouTube. But don't worry about that today. Take care of your daughter today.
Yeah. But yeah, I pretty much already dubbed the two that you sent. I dubbed those. It's already
God, they're so good.
Dude, I was
Each
like,
one of them can be broken up into two parts
yeah,
for separate segments.
I was like, man, this guy.
The real kicker is how many people have seen it
Right.
and liked it.
Like, dude.
I always thought I was like this nerd growing up, and I probably was, but
Oh man, anywhere there's music, it's just like, okay, if it's weather music or anything, it's like,
the hell was I pulling up here on my
isn't it nostalgic though? Like you hear that,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're just like you're taken back.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, in the part 2 when he changes chords,
Yeah.
that's the one that hits me.
Yeah.
The hell was I looking up on my phone?
That's good stuff. I don't know. Before that, we were talking.
Oh,
about
Mathern's app.
Okay.
Mathern's app.
Okay.
Shit. Oh, this one's me, huh? Sorry. All right. Here's what we got going on traffic wise. I have everything minimized. Give me just one quick second here. Nothing really going on the interstates. We're looking good right now. No heavy volume coming in from Denham like there normally is. There's never anything going on 10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish ever since they widened up 3 lanes. So that's good to go as well. Coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish, we look pretty dadgum good over there too. Both bridges are wide open. Your I-110 is wide open as well. Hopping off the interstates, looking at your surface streets. There's something going on Burbank that I don't have word on yet. It was reported like less than 10 minutes ago. It just says traffic enforcement. Burbank at Starring Lane. Burbank in between Starring and Gardere, actually. Might want to be on the lookout for that if your route takes you that way. Other than that, we do have an accident, Sherwood at Newcastle. But that's really it. Those 2 little blips on the radar on your surface streets are the only things to report from the Shawbills Tire Traffic Center. Sorry about that. On the way in, I was distracted by it. Was a texting back, I guess, that's coming up later on in the show. Speaking of which, Dr. Jackie Stevens from the Pennington Biomedical Research Center, slated to join us an hour and 10 minutes from right now. Okay. Oh, another programming note. If you noticed when I was giving out the rundown, there's no Foodie Friday today. I didn't miss anything. I know. John, you broke your neck to be here today. Looking forward to Rocco.
I was.
You were looking forward to Rocco,
literally.
weren't you?
Man.
Louisiana Beef Industry Council signs up to be a sponsor, and we can't get a Rocco's roast beef in the first couple weeks.
Come on.
Dude. Paul last week, crushed it.
Goodness.
Crushed it from Couillons, man.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. You know what we ended up doing? Cutting those rolls in half and making little brisket sliders.
Oh,
Yeah, huh?
Oof.
Yeah.
Man,
Louisiana
shout out.
Beef Industry Council bringing you Foodie Friday every single week over the summer, except this week. Well, the week I'm on vacation, it won't as well. But this week they're not. You know why? It's raining in Florida. Let me rephrase. It rained in Florida yesterday.
So that's why there's no Foodie Friday.
That's why there's no Foodie Friday today.
Okay.
Rocco, I'm texting back and forth with him, is in Florida. I'm like, we still good for tomorrow? And bear in mind, I make sure Rocco's in the mix early.
Right.
He's like, if you'll pardon the pun, top of the food chain.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And when Louisiana Beef Industry Council slaps their name on it as well, I want to make sure he's top of the food chain. So this has been in the works for 3 weeks now. And then yesterday, he's like, I can't drive, Haldane. It's raining. By the way, spot on Rocco impression. I can't drive in the rain, Haldane.
I'm not even.
Bro, you know what? He's no longer top of the food. Rocco's getting demoted.
Put them on the toilet bowl committee or the poop committee.
Right there. He's on the poop committee now. Thank you, Moon.
Oh, man.
I appreciate the assist, Moon. No Foodie Friday today. However, I was asked last night, can't you just get somebody else? Let's do this. If you happen to be driving up Government Street with a side of beef, come on in.
We'll let you in. We'll let you in.
I hit the button on my phone. You happen to be driving up Government with a side of beef, we'll I got Hunt Palmer now.
Yeah.
So we'll work around it.
Man.
But yeah, come on.
Bring it on. That's awesome.
Rocco done left me high and dry, man. Anyway, beefitswhatsfordinner.com is the website. Beefitswhatsfordinner.com. You can learn so much more about what beef has to offer. Right? Not just the great flavors, but the 10 vitamins and minerals, the protein, the iron, the nutrients. You get it all at beefitswhatsfordinner.com. We'll be back at it with Foodie Friday next week. Thing is, schedule fills up fast over the summertime. Everybody likes to flex when it comes to the beef recipes. So I don't know when we're getting Rocco back in here. Tell you another great spot to find your beef would be over there at Mathern's. In fact, $3.99 a pound right now. Wow, that segued well. $3.99 a pound for the 80% lean ground beef. That's what you're going to get over at Mathern's. Now, it's not just beef at Mathern's. You get your pork chops, $2.49 a pound. Center cut pork loins, $1.99 a pound. Your split breasts from Sanderson Farms are $1.49 a pound. I know about all this because they have the Mathern's Rewards app. Got it right here in my hand right now. Every time I shop at Mathern's, they scan my, watch this, rewards. Boop, hit rewards. There's my little barcode right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll scan the barcode when they check me out. I earn cash towards more groceries every time I shop. It's regional weekend out at Alec Box Stadium. There's no grocery store closer to baseball than Mathern. Well, in fact, Mathern's is in left field, the old left field. Maybe a little bit closer to the infield, actually. Yeah, I think they're closer to the infield. Mathern's is where the old box was. So you're not going to find a grocery store closer, more connected than Mathern's. So they're also downtown on 3rd and just west of Kenilworth Parkway with the Mathern's at Kenilworth. It's the OG Kenilworth supermarket has come back home. All right, not enough time to dive in to a full story here. Just enough time for me to rip Rocco one time because he has been demoted.
A poop committee.
Officially for no showing. Hell dang, can't drive in the rain.
I can't drive in the rain.
Yeah, you're a little high up. I'm a little low down.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
down the middle.
We meet
Hey,
somewhere.
yeah, we need to work on it. All right, here comes news.
Hey, Haldane. Haldane, I can't drive in the rain.
Keep that moon.
Yeah,
yeah.
just that straight. Yeah, just that cut. Okay. I'm gonna save it real quick. Let's see. Oh man.
If you happen to be driving up government with a side of beef.
Yeah, man. Here we go.
But see, the thing of it is with Rocco, he takes up a full 45 minutes worth. It's 3 segments worth of show.
Yep.
So I had to go back and backtrack and
Yeah.
so stretching things out hasn't helped. I also don't have a 7:15 because other people won't call me back either.
Oh crap. Dang.
And instead of the outside in, we're going to make fun of hurricane names.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. Who ran a kid out there?
Right?
Who's the asshole? I agree with what the kid had to say. I'm on that side of the argument, but who's the asshole?
Mama said that fluoride good for your teeth.
If fluoride wasn't no good, then alligators wouldn't have no teeth. Alligators are ornery because they got on teeth and no toothbrush.
Yeah, exactly. Who got a kid? Whose kid is this?
Sorry, y'all weren't hearing news at the bottom of the hour right there. One of the sound bites in the Mike Fazee put out a bill wanting to ban fluoride from our drinking water, and this one of the sound bites is of a kid testifying in front of the Senate committee. I'm not a dentist, but 1,900 dentists in Louisiana say fluoride is good for you in this dosage. It's not fair.
Oh man. Shots fired by Byron. How can you brag about being from NOLA and not be able to drive in the rain?
Yep.
Bro.
That's why he's on the poop committee. Oh, Galen. Yeah, dude. Is it 58? I thought they got above 60. LSUS in baseball, like running the table. Uh-oh. We're going to check on the app. Melanie says the app isn't working. Time to get a look at your weekend forecast. Time to get a look at your LSU baseball regional forecast. Here's the McCade Cowan. Yep. Cannot connect the audio stream for the station. Was it? Shoot, I forgot to check this morning. I'm supposed to do that every morning on my way in. Well, I do that every morning on my way in where I scroll through all the stations just to make sure. Yeah, but that. .637 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got Lake Urgent Care hopping on board in our next segment. We'll talk a little summer safety, summer being kid-friendly with the summer safety in our next segment with Lake Urgent Care. Meanwhile, you heard that story in news right there coming to you from our state's legislature. A bill is now heading to the Senate that would require age verification, and parental approval for minors to download apps. Originally, the bill's written by Manville's Kim Carver. It focused on app stores like Apple's App Store and Google Play. However, the bill has since been expanded to include app developers after an amendment was added during discussion in the Senate Commerce Committee.
Apple makes 30% from every subscription or download of an app and every in-app purchase. And if my daughter could be having her way, ordering DoorDash day and night without my consent, Apple's making a chunk on that.
I get it, but there's a million things out there that you need to be a certain age to purchase, and the revenue drawn off of it should not factor into it. So I like where Kim Carver's going, saying, straight to the source. Let's go straight to the source. Meta, by the way, supports the original bill, arguing it helps parents manage their children's app usage. They support safe, age-appropriate digital experiences. Google, however, opposes the legislation, citing privacy concerns and claiming it would require invasive ID checks. Completely disagree with Google here because we've seen ID checks are needed for numerous other products and services. Try walking into a Circle K and buying a pack of cigarettes. Is downloading bad apps as bad for you as cigarettes? You know what? I'm willing to entertain that argument. Yeah. I mean, not directly on health concerns, but overall, sure. We can have that argument all day long. But maybe an ID check, maybe a little invasiveness is what's needed here. Who's Google looking to protect, really? Carver says Apple's CEO Tim Cook also voiced opposition in regards to a similar Texas law.
The same bill passed in Texas, and Tim Cook called the governor of Texas this week and begged him not to sign it.
Now, Jason Sane with NetChoice, they also oppose the bill. They say while his company shares Carver's goal to protect minors, the bill's deeply flawed, would likely undermine privacy. I don't know how. That's the part that I don't like. Why and how does it undermine privacy to verify that you're 21? Or 18, excuse me, to verify that you're 18. But Sane says it would undermine privacy and fail to effectively protect minors, and it would violate Louisianans' First Amendment rights.
The First Amendment protects everyone, adults, minors, and businesses, to create, disseminate, and access lawful information, no matter the medium. Requiring IDs or other identity-based hurdles for lawful speech flies in the face of these rights.
Now, over in Texas, it's called the Securing Children Online Through Parental Empowerment Act, or the SCOPE Act. My biggest problem with the privacy concern is that or the alleged privacy concern is I don't think you're really looking to protect privacy. What you're looking to do is you're looking to protect overall numbers. And I don't even think this is anything nefarious where they're trying to get kids to download bad you-know-what. It's just a numbers game. And if you reduce your potential customer pool by a certain percentage, then you're going to reduce your revenue by a certain percentage as well. You're going to reduce the number of eyeballs that you have on your product or on your service, on your app by a certain number because you're not allowing children under the age of 18 to download the app. If I walk in to buy an iPhone and I hop on that iPhone and start entering all my information in there, my privacy has already been handed over. My iPhone knows everything about my iPhone knows more about me than I do. Verifying age is not a legitimate privacy concern. Verifying age, as a parent, it helps parents. It does. Now, the flip side of this is as a parent, there's a part of me that knows full well once my child has a cell phone, that's on me now, dog. That is on me. I am a parent. It is my job to make sure they are raised in the right environment. And part of that environment is the online environment. And when they have that cell phone, they have in their pocket or in their hand all the world at their fingertips. And there's nothing they can't get around, oh, by the way. But if I could put up a few roadblocks along the way to make sure that, well, if they're going to get around it, they got to earn it, that's going to happen. It's HB 570, by the way. It would take effect in July of next year if it passes. I really, number one, I like the fact that Kim Carver's going after this. Carver has been on point this session for sure. Between the work he's doing on the education front, between the advertising one. Oh, we talked about it yesterday. He's got a bill that wants more truth in advertising or wants more declared within advertising, especially from lawyers. Carver's been on point, and I don't think he's wrong on this at all. I think he's right on the right path with this. And look, I'm biased because I am a parent, for sure. I understand that fully. But we live in a world now where it's more and more important on a daily basis that kids end up with cell phones. Every parent walks down the path where, all right, when are we giving in? When are we giving in? When are they getting it? For us, I'll tell you, I don't mind telling you right now. For our oldest two, it was roughly going into the 8th grade, right? That's about the age where your kid is being dropped off at the movies and picked up later. How much more convenient is it as a parent to be able to say, text me when y'all are when the credits start to roll and I'll be there? That's about the age where they start hanging out with friends and they, hey, I'm going down to so-and-so's house. Okay. Take your phone with you so I know where you are, because you got Life 360 on there. That's about the age where they start, leaving the nest a little bit more often, and you're not always there with them. So the cell phone, from your perspective as a parent, is actually more vital to you than it is to them. Now, conversely, middle school, junior high type of age, you know full well that, I have two very, very social daughters. Very, very chatty. So they're going to be communicating with their friends all the time. And this isn't the 80s, boss, where you got the one phone in the kitchen with the really long cord. You pull it on into the dining room so your parents can't hear your conversation. No, the landline isn't a thing anymore. At least not in our house. So when they're calling their friends, they need it on that front as well. And just because we want the added benefits of the extra communication or the added benefits of the extra lines of communication, just because we want the added convenience of knowing where they are and when, does not mean we also want to fully open the window to the world that lets everybody else in as well. So, yeah, huge proponent of HB 570. We're coming up on 6:47 at Talk 107.3 FM. We're due up for a break. Hey, John, you should have taken a picture of me during that segment because I was going off about cell phones and I was basically doing dad things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, our Rad Dad contest is back, and it's bigger than ever. Roaming Shot Outdoors and Citizens Bank and Trust bring you Dad's favorite gifts ever. A green egg, thanks to Goodwood Hardware, a steak pack from Chris's Specialty Foods, Manly Soap from Hawk Soap, and a hunting class for 2 from Roaming Shot Outdoors. Upload pics of Dad doing dad things at talk1073.com now through June 8th, and get your friends and family to vote on the 9th through the 12th. Happy Father's Day to all the Rad Dads out there. Oh.
I was like, wait, what? What are we doing?
I'm pretty sure this girl's name is Kyrin. It might be Karen. It might be Kyrin. So
Kyrin?
if you wouldn't
Kyrin?
mind finding out when she calls in.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'll get the correct pronunciation. Yeah, man.
Eric says the iPhone probably has the infamous punch date memorized. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. There she is.
Studio. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, looking to have you up here in just about another minute or so. Yes, ma'am. And if you wouldn't mind, how do you pronounce your first name? Kyrin. All right, Miss Kyrin. Yeah, we just wanted to make sure I get it right. All right. But yeah, Brian will have you up here in about a minute. Thank you.
Sort of question myself with the Kyrin, but oh. Prioritizing kid-friendly care this summer. That's the topic of our next conversation. We get the folks from Lake Urgent Care hanging on for just a quick second. Let me remind you, we got ABC News coming your way at the top of the hour. In our next hour, if you missed yesterday's conversation with Governor Jeff Landry, we're going to revisit some of that. We also got the folks from Pennington Biomedical Research Center stopping by next hour as well. Right now, though, on the hotline, we've got Kyrin Minor from Lake Urgent Care with us. Kyrin, how are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
I am doing very well as well. So, you know how it is the week following Memorial Day. All the kids are out of school. They're running loose. Let's talk about it. It always comes with, you let kids loose. They're going to trip and fall. They're going to scrape their knees, might even break an arm here and there. Talk to me about what the Lake Urgent Care clinics are doing to prioritize kid-friendly care this summer.
Yes, of course. So we're just here to keep families safe and healthy this summer. With summertime, the kids are out of school, fun is happening, but it just brings more chances for those little mishaps. We're often seeing in our summer months heat-related injuries, dehydration or heat exhaustion from playing outside too long. So just keeping top of mind to go inside, take those breaks, and hydrate. We're seeing some food poisoning, during the summer times. We're doing the cookouts, we're doing the picnics. And of course, here in Louisiana, of course, the insect bites. And then always keeping top of mind any minor burns from grills or crawfish pots. The kids are always running around and things happen so quickly. And of course, who doesn't love to go swimming in the summertime, especially to cool off? But with that, we do see swimmer's ear. So just to keep some of those top of mind. And then, of course, there's always scrapes, sprains, and bruises from all of them running, jumping, bike riding, things of that sort.
All right, I want to follow up with that with the dehydration and or the burns and whatnot. There's a very fine line there. It's like, what would it take for, like, let's say dehydration? Where do you draw the line between just getting back inside, cooling down, and refilling up on the water? And I know it's not a one shot thing, but that between taking care of it at home versus coming to see y'all.
I think just paying attention to the signs and symptoms. If just going inside, cooling off, and drinking water isn't getting the job done, and if it's your child or a little one, and you see that they, still may look like they're in distress, then I think that's definitely a key indicator that it's time to come into the urgent care. So we can kind of take matters from there versus just taking care of it at home. But that's why I feel like it's also so important to, if you're going to be outside the following day, just to really hydrate and prepare for that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hydration happens beforehand. That's one of the most underrated points right there, is that the hydration happens. It's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing thing. Now that's
Right.
the difference between taking care of it at home versus coming to see y'all. What about coming to see y'all versus your kid's pediatrician?
So yeah, great question. So I think if it's anything as far as just minor and time sensitive, if it's something like a fever spike or an earache or a twisted ankle, of course, we can see those things at the urgent care. And I think that that's the way to go, especially if the pediatrician's office is closed or booked up. We are open 7 days a week. We accept walk-ins, and you can even check in online to save your spot to reduce that time. But for things like ongoing well visits and vaccines or any long-term conditions, you'll definitely want to stick with your pediatrician who knows your child's full history.
How young is too young to come see y'all?
We see kids ages 3 months and up.
Okay, and up includes all of us. So as the young part was the good part of that question. We got summertime stuff going on right now. I don't want to go too far down the road, Kyrin, but as summer is here, that means the next school year is on the way as well. Y'all come into play on that front too.
We do. We offer sports and camp physicals at all of our Lake Urgent Care locations. They're quick, easy, and affordable. So whether your child is getting ready for football, cheer, summer camp, band practice, we definitely have you covered on that front. You don't need an appointment for any of these. Of course, you'll just walk in or check in online, and at a time that works best for you. It's perfect for busy parents who just don't have the time to wait that long wait time or weeks to see your pediatrician for that appointment, or if you need to fill out a form last minute. We make it easy just to get in and get it done and then get back to enjoying your summer.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with now. Physical on the front end of summer still counts for the next school year. There's no reason to wait until the last minute when all the rest of the parents are looking for a spot to get their physicals done as well. And I didn't even think about the camps, the camps that require a physical too. We got about 2 minutes left with Kyrin Minor from Lake Urgent Care. Let's talk convenience. What options do families have?
Yes, we're all about making it easy, convenient for the patient and for families. So you walk in, you check in online, or you can even use our virtual visit option, which you can do from the comfort of your couch for any minor illnesses. Plus, we offer on-site x-rays and labs, so you're not being sent all over town just to get the answers you need. It's kind of like a one-stop shop. So whether it's the weekend or holiday or just a regular weekday afternoon, we're just here when life happens, and it usually happens when you least expect it. And speaking from experience from a mom of two. So so we're all about convenience and just making it as easy as possible for all of our families.
Absolutely. And putting the onus, I don't want to put too much onus on the individual, but y'all do say urgent care starts with you. So elaborate on that and talk about what that means.
Yes, I absolutely love this. So our Urgent Care Starts With You campaign is reminding our community that you, the parent, the patient, the caretaker, or the reason we do what we do. Every decision we make, from adding virtual visits to even expanding our hours, is centered around making life easier for our patients. It's also about listening. I think that's a really huge part of it as well. If there's any way that we can do better or serve the community better, we always want to hear about that. I think we're really keeping that top of mind. And then just remembering that it's your health, your time, and just your peace of mind. So that's where we kind of draw in that it all starts with you.
We are straight up out of time. Where can folks go to find y'all online to get the list of locations?
Yes, they can find us at lakeurgentcare.com and also on social media.
She is Kyrin Minor with Lake Urgent Care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hour 2's next. That was good. Actually got to all the questions this time. How you doing this morning? Understood. It's that time of year where the sweat comes out a lot more, and it's you showed him up, right? Damn right you didn't lose. More important. Doesn't matter how you are this morning. It's June 11th. I'm not going to be here. Damn it. Yeah, I'll be down in New Orleans for the Department of Education thing. Not here interviewing Montel Williams. Now on June 4th, we are confirmed for Phineas. That's happening. Have you texted Cade and Bo about the app audio? Or if you wanted to hang out here, we got chairs here as well. Either way. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. Starting off your second hour, we've ticked up 1 degree. We've gone up to 73 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. You heard that forecast from Emma Kate Cowan. Yes, we are keeping one eye on the forecast as it is regional baseball time. Out of the box, things will get underway later on this afternoon. We'll talk about that in our next hour when Hunt Palmer hops on board. Also next hour, State Representative Mike Bayham has got he's got a lot going on. We're going to talk about the session as a whole, but I want to talk specifically about one bill that he wrote that we talked about and legally served on Wednesday, and that involves the AG's office and enforcement powers. We'll talk with Mike Bayham in our next hour. This hour, we're going to have folks from the Pennington Biomedical Research Center coming on at 7:35. We'll talk a little bit about diabetes, a few other topics we will cover as well when we welcome in our 7:35 segment, Dr. Jackie Stevens. And of course, in our next segment, if you missed yesterday's interview with Governor Jeff Landry, We got, I had to pull some audio back because there were some highlights from it. Some things that the governor had to say about what has gone on in the legislative session up until now, which there's only 2 weeks to go. So there will be more to come, but it's been a busy session. We'll revisit some of our conversation with Jeff Landry in the next segment. Right now, top stories and trending.
Number 5.
So it is summertime. The kids are out roaming around and whatnot. Well, over on the other side of the river in Port Allen, there is a curfew, and Port Allen has issued a zero tolerance policy on the juvenile curfew. Port Allen Police Department issued a statement saying they plan to strictly enforce juvenile curfew violations beginning yesterday. For all individuals under the age of 17, the rules state they must be off public streets and in their homes between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Sunday through Thursday. They push that back to midnight for Friday and Saturday nights.
Number 4.
Yesterday, we told you that the bear spotted in Central was deemed to pose no threat to the public. Well, also yesterday, enforcement agents and biologists with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries set out to catch the black bear that had been caught caught in somebody's trash and roaming all over social media. The LDWF said it's possible the bear running around Baton Rouge near Hartley Bay Sports Park is the same bear as the one that was seen in Central on Wednesday. So they have since gone out and put out some traps for the bear. Not like an old school bear, the old, no, not like that. These traps, they're loaded up and baited with donuts.
Number 3.
Hey, boo boo. The Southeastern Conference eliminated their escalating fine system for students rushing the field in court. Instead, they're going to impose a flat fine of $500,000. This according to ESPN. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey said the motivation came from punishing the field rushing, regardless of it being the first time or the 18th time. Interesting choice of numbers right there, especially if you're LSU.
Number 2.
Just saying, the number 18 means something at LSU. I don't know that it means something anywhere else. Thursday, officials gave an update regarding the search for. I'm not putting 2 and 2 together right there. I'm just pulling that out there. The search for the 2 remaining missing inmates from OPP, it's escalating now. They are upping the fine. Upping the rewards down in New Orleans for any information leading to an arrest. It's up to $50,000 now for said information for the 2 remaining guys that are out there.
Number 1.
Skeletal remains were found in a canal behind an airline highway, business official said yesterday. BRPD said the bones were found Wednesday morning off airline between Evangeline and Prescott. The LSU Faces Lab was called to the scene. They confirmed what was found was human remains. Beyond that, we don't know anything. That's all the details. That's it. That's all. It's over. What's trending, John?
Go ahead. A federal appeals court on Thursday temporarily delayed Wednesday's court order blocking President Donald Trump's tariffs, reinstating them at least for the time being.
Has everybody gone crazy yet?
Not yet.
Because you put in tariffs and the market gets scared and everybody goes home. You take off tariffs and the market gets all bold and they go back out to buying again. Have they gone back to being scared yet? I mean, if not, why not?
Yeah, if not.
Why not? We are required by law to lose our minds 2-3 times a week.
Of course. Of course.
Am I over it? Yes, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Am I so over it? Yeah. So over it.
Indeed. In other news, Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN all took a beating during a month of April, with all 3 networks recording declines in total viewers in the adults 25 to 54 demographic. So
a little bit off the air, behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm down in New Orleans for next month for the Department of Education's Teacher Leadership Summit, I'm trying right now to get credentialed to pop in at the RTDNA 2025 conference. Radio, Television, Digital News Association, RTDNA. Reporters, newsroom directors from like around the country converge on New Orleans. They're actually going to be at the hotel that I stayed at last year for the education conference. Anyway, That's neither here nor there. I'm trying to sneak in over there because the Radio, Television, Digital News Association is fully aware that we as a populace are sick of it.
Right.
Ratings overall, Fox News is still ruling, right? But ratings overall are declining because, number one, We're tired of being told that everything's breaking. You can't constantly be breaking.
Right.
Not every piece of news is the most important piece of news ever. But we're all starting to learn that the less we pay attention to the media, the happier we are.
Yeah.
And
Seems to be a
there's
correlation.
psychological numbers behind this.
Yeah.
So one of the topics of a breakout session that I plan on attending, if I can get credentialed, one of the topics that I plan on attending is how to get the audience to re-engage when they're disengaged. You ever just put your phone away for a weekend? You ever step away from your phone for like a couple days?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it so rewarding? Isn't it so much more fulfilling to not have it right there?
It really is. It really is.
But when it's in your hand, it's a crack pipe.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Right?
Unfortunately.
How can we go back to having a balance there? Yeah. The same is true with the news on TV. So, yeah, I'm not shocked at all that all of the news stations are taking a beating.
Yeah. No surprise at all.
Oh.
Hey, LSU will play its first 2 home games of the 2025 season at night in Death Valley. That's the home opener against Louisiana Tech on September 6th and the conference opener on September 13th in Week 3 against the Florida Gators. Both will kick off at 6:30 p.m.
Some relief.
Yeah.
Some relief. It's still going to be halftime before it's actually Saturday night in Death Valley. I don't like playing Florida this early in the year. I don't like
think
it.
You're alone in that.
I don't want the world changing, man.
Right.
I like Florida to be an early October game where you might catch a little bit of crispness in the air. Where I certainly, and anybody that knows the rivalry between LSU and Florida, I certainly don't want the possibility, even the mere possibility of hurricanes in the mix. Because we've already lost home games over that with Florida in the past. Not lost on the scoreboard. I mean, we physically lost a home game in a trade-off. At least it won't be in the daytime. I guess there's that. At least we won't be melting in the 2:30 sun.
There's that, right? We try to find silver linings.
Yes.
Try to.
Yes. If we can have a beautiful sunset. If, as Dan Bournet has said for so many years, the sun finds its home in the western sky. And it's Saturday night. Choked up a little bit. And it's Saturday night in Death Valley. I'll take it. I want to play Mississippi State early. Because they're awful.
Yeah.
They're perennially awful. And I would rather play them when we're all melting.
I don't think you're alone in that either. At all. I think a lot of people would agree with you.
Yeah. Stand in the alley behind my back fence with, Dale and Boomhauer, and we just complain about how the world keeps spinning.
It's just moved
What's
on.
the fat one's name?
Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot.
Boy, I'll tell you what, man. They done
You're not talking about Hank.
Well, no, man.
Oh, you're doing Hank.
I'm doing. Who's the other one?
Boomhauer?
There's Boomhauer. There's Dale.
Oh,
He's actually got like Cajun family roots.
That's insane. I can't believe
All right. King of the Hill joke blown. 714 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We are due up for a quick break when we come back. Yesterday I had Governor Jeff Landry on the show in the 8 o'clock hour. He had a lot to say. And I'm just speculating here. He had a lot of caffeine, too. We'll revisit that conversation next. Peter Griffin?
What's that, Peter Griffin? No, Peter Griffin. Wait.
What the hell are you smoking, Clint?
Peter Griffin. Oh, dude.
Never mind, that ain't it. No shit, that ain't it. Ugh. Has nobody said it on the Facebook chat yet?
No.
Damn it, Facebook.
Why am I drawing a blank?
Damn it, you glorified crew.
Dale? You said Dale.
Bill Dotrieve.
Bill. That was the next one. Dang it. Bill. Yep.
What?
Yeah. Cade says that it seems to be across the board as far as apps.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So looking into it though.
717 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. If you are listening to us on air or have found us on Facebook or YouTube, I appreciate you pivoting. If you normally listen to us on the Talk 1073 mobile app, the app is down. The audio is down on the app right now. I apologize for that. It is it appears to be a guarantee-wide problem. So all of our sister stations are having the same problem that we are. We have our engineers working on it. I say engineers like this. There's a team that's just going after it. Bo and Cade are working on it. It's we didn't throw up a bat signal and send half a dozen guys into the IT core over there. It's no. Bo and Cade are working on it. They're doing their level best to get us back up and running. But in the meanwhile, if you've hopped in over on the Facebook Live, really explore the space. Enjoy the glorified crew over there. I know everybody calls our Facebook people a family. Look, we're a glorified crew. Not full of, that's another Sopranos reference.
I like that.
Yeah, Carmine always said Jersey was nothing more than a glorified crew. So enjoy the glorified crew over there. By the way, share your feedback. The comments are right there at your fingertips. Have at it. But I appreciate you pivoting to enjoy the show. Governor Jeff Landry joined us yesterday. We're going to get into that in just a minute. By the way, it was Bill Dauterive was the character from King of the Hill. I couldn't remember. Yeah. Bill Dauterive. Before we get you to the governor's comments from yesterday, I need to remind you about the folks over at P.F. Chang's. If you don't yet have lunch plans, P.F. Chang's has got you covered. I've been telling you about the black pepper chicken regularly because it's awesome. It's just so much Papa flavor. It's just so good. Like, because the black pepper sauce is all over the chicken, all over the onions, all over the bell peppers. It's just, it's my new addiction. But the whole menu is fantastic. I've never had something at P.F. Chang's that I haven't absolutely fallen in love with. Mongolian beef was my OG, and then they introduced the sesame beef. And then I asked them to make the sesame beef a little bit spicier, and they did that. The Korean fried chicken. Oh my! Get the Korean get the Korean fried chicken with the flight of sauces, and run the gambit between the sweet, the savory, the smoky, and the spicy. Oh man! Lunch special starting at $13.99, dinner special starting at $16.99, happy hour specials all the time. You know where to find them. They're off Corporate Boulevard in Town Center. Look for the giant golden horse. Legislative session continues. 2 weeks to go in the legislative session. As of yesterday, actually. June 12th is the official sine die. When they have to. I think they might close things out a little bit early. But June 12th is when they've got to shut it down. Governor Jeff Landry joined me yesterday. I had so many notes for so many different angles for the conversation. I like to be prepared when the governor comes on, and it's already in the works. As soon as the session's over with, he's either joining us on the 13th or on the following Monday. We don't have that hammered out just yet, but we're hoping to get him in studio. Any Hoosers, back to it. I had so many notes to take the conversation, and so in one of any different angles to get a bird's eye view of everything happening over there. I didn't really want to get bogged down on all the insurance talk because he said at the beginning of the session he was going to sign what makes it to his desk. He wasn't going to veto anything this time around. I didn't want to get bogged down too much, but Jeff Landry yesterday, I mean, it was like he was mainlining Red Bull. He was out the blocks at 1,000 miles an hour and just like ran me over like George Costanza when a fire alarm goes off. And I say that with love. This late in the session, he should be dragging a little bit. There should be a little bit of tired going on. But he started off by telling us this is the most on the insurance front. This is the most we've seen on the tort reform front. This is the most we've ever seen happen.
Well, I mean, look, Ron, I think right now we've got an A+. Yesterday we held a bill signing ceremony. I can't remember the last time we've been able to sign bills before the session has ended, especially monumental pieces of legislation. Yesterday we completed the largest tort reform done in Louisiana's history. I mean, over the last 14 months, we have done more than any governor or any legislature has done in their entire terms. And some of those governors have gone to, I mean, Edwin Evans went 4 different terms. And so all of this, of course, was focused on trying to lower the outrageous cost of insurance. And so I got to tell you, I mean, look, we worked real hard to do that. It is taken us up to this point to be able to get there. And now we got to finish up the rest of our work over the next couple of weeks.
A couple of things to take away from that. I don't want to take away any of the enthusiasm from the governor right there, because he's right. But teamwork makes the dream work. And you've got a more reform-minded legislature than any previous governor has had as well. You've got, and I know I tout the freshmen all day long. I tout that class of 2023 all day long, and I will continue to do so. But let it be heard right here that the ones who were there before that are every bit as reform-minded as the newbies. Can't call them newbies anymore. They're done with their second regular session. They've been at the state capitol more than they've been at their homes over the last year and a half. But you had reform-minded go-getters. They just didn't have the numbers until the 2023 class pushed them over the top. They didn't have the strength and numbers to get done what they wanted to get done. So, yes, Governor, you are seeing more done in this legislative session on a tort reform in the tort reform space than you have ever before. That's true. But teamwork makes the dream work, and you've got both sides of the first floor are humming. Now, that's all fine and good. That's all words on paper. Bills are getting passed, sure. That's great. But the big question is, what about my wallet, Governor? Are we going to see actual results when it comes to insurance premiums? My bill's going to go down?
Look, I'm hopeful that we will get a medical transparency bill done. It was one of the ones that I vetoed last year because I thought we could do better. You remember last year we took a lot of heat for vetoing one bill, signing a bunch of other bills, basically not taking a package, not taking everything that the insurance companies wanted in a package, and we took that criticism, but it was because we thought we could do better. And what we did this session is demonstrably better. It focuses on the findings of the insurance specific report that was done with the legislature back in 2020. That means we've now passed a vast majority of those things that the insurance companies wanted. I think we took a very balanced approach, and we should see premiums start to fall.
Took a long time to get there. Sorry about that. I meant to add on to the setup there that I was asking. I was asking not just about what premiums fall, but what hasn't gotten done as well. Anyway, the end of that comment, the end of that soundbite, long as it was, the end of that soundbite was we should start to see premiums fall. Now, that being said, nothing that moves legislatively and then translating into the real world happens overnight. We had Representative Peter Egan from Covington on at the beginning. Was it last week or the beginning of this week? Either way, Representative Egan said 12 to 18 months to see any real results. I'd push that out to 2 years overall. I did ask the governor, do we have a timeline on these, on seeing an actual change in our actual wallets?
You know, Brian, I don't know. That's all going to be up to the insurance companies. I will tell you that some of these things were done back in 2020. And again, that was part of the complaint that I had. It's why we took a balanced approach, is because a number of measures have been passed between then and now, and things that we signed last year, and we hadn't seen the impact that we thought we would see. I think it's by taking the balanced approach and putting some teeth into our insurance regulation and giving our insurance department the same type of power that they have in other southern states. I think that is going to be the nudge needed towards the insurance companies to see the savings start to find its way into our policyholders' pockets.
He went from there to go into House Bill 148, which a lot of folks are opposed to. It puts more power, alleged power, into Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple's hands. He went into talking about how insurance companies make more money in Louisiana than they do anywhere else, which that was connected to a 570-page report that my eyes glazed over and I moved on from. But a lot of people have refuted those numbers. But when you put more power in the insurance commissioner's hands, alleged power, like perceived power in the insurance commissioner's hands, I don't know that it changes anything except takes perceived power away from the insurance companies. And I need you to go back to cut 2, John, or was it in that cut just now? The governor said in one of the last 2 cuts, it's getting all jumbled to me, but he said right there, the insurance companies will decide. It was at the beginning of cut 3. The insurance companies will decide when rates are going to drop. He said that's up to the insurance companies. If it's up to the insurance companies when the rates are going to drop, putting more perceived power in the insurance commissioner's hands doesn't do anything for the insurance commissioner. It doesn't do anything for the rates. All it does is set up the opportunity for blame on the back end if the insurance companies decide that they're not going to drop their rates or drop their rates by enough. Which is why Tim Temple doesn't like HB 148. The insurance people I've talked to don't like HB 148. It makes sense. And by the way, there's a whole other reason not to like HB 148, but this is a big part of what the governor wanted. So when it comes to evaluating the session as a whole, you take the good with the bad. And Governor Landry got himself some wins. And Governor Landry is confident that we will see rates drop. There's been a lot of hubbub and kerfuffle, if I can use technical terms. A lot of hubbub and kerfuffle over 1 or 2 bills within this session. He signed 6 bills that either will help us on this front or will address things on this front, even if they don't help. They are glaring reminders that we've got our eyes on the prize now. And even if we're not getting it right, and I say this at the risk of Moon coming down I-10 to slap me, we are moving in the right direction. And I do feel like this session was more than just one step. How long's the last cut, John? Do we have room for it here?
It's like 1:05.
Then we don't have room for it here. Yeah. Tell you what, I'm a punt on what we were going to do at 7:55 because it was stupid. We'll get back into the session. Governor Landry was able to address a few of the other wins that have gone on during the session. One that's really been under the radar is the revamping of the Department of Transportation. So we'll continue that conversation after we check news, traffic, weather. Dr. Jackie Stevens from Pennington Biomedical Research Center is in with us next. Hey, before we get you to our news break, want to remind you about Louisiana Business Weekly. This is my podcast, but it's not my podcast. It's your source for the latest in Louisiana's business landscape. Yes, I'm the host, but they are not my stories, not my conversations. It's proudly presented by Currency Bank. We take a deep dive every week to talk to a business leader about their business, their wins, their losses, their successes, their failures. You can find it wherever you get your podcast or at talk1073.com. I'm on time with live reads. I'm on time with promos. What? Of education. That's my trip to New Orleans next month. They bought remotes so they get a live read schedule with it, but they have nothing to live read. So the whole conference is sold out. So I know. Come on in. You're here. I'm here. We're good to go. So we want to talk diabetes? Sure. Okay. I didn't get a whole lot from yeah. Well, see, oh, did you? There's a super long email chain. I don't think it's. Let me go back. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I appreciate it. See, the problem is Joe trusts me, which no one should ever do. So, no, he knows it's going to be. He knows it's. There is. Do you need this for your notes? Because I can go run a copy so I can have the questions. Okay.
No, I just did that the other day, so I think I'm
Okay.
good.
Cool. We hope it's the same bear. Because if not, as a whole new list of problems. Okay, and not to be completely ignorant, but
Yeah.
how do you pronounce that word?
Adipocyte. It's just
I
a
thought-
fancy word for fat cell.
Okay.
Adipocyte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I don't know why I'm so excited about adding so much more work to my plate. I just got approved for the RTDNA conference.
Perfect, man.
Like free registration. Because
Yeah.
we weren't going to pay for that.
That's what's up.
But I definitely, because I can't go to the whole thing. But I could definitely go on the 11th and 12th. I'm taking my show to New Orleans for Department of Education as a teacher leadership summit at the beginning of the
Excellent.
summer. And Dr. Brumley was like, "We have all this great stuff going on. I would like to share it with the rest of the state." I'm like, "Let's do this. I'll make
Yeah.
the show a deep dive in that for 2 straight days." So I go down there for 2 days to cover the conference and talk to different teachers from different grade levels in different parts of the state.
Right, yeah.
Yes, there's so much good stuff going on, and headlines are always so negative.
I know.
So I'm like, let's absolutely do this. Well, at the very same time, Radio Television Digital News Association, RTDNA, is having their conference a mile away. Like I'm gonna be at the Montreal Convention Center, at 2 miles away. Over at the Hotel Montleone is where
Yeah.
their conference is at. So I do my show in the morning, and because my next day's already mapped out for me with the conference, I don't have to do show prep and all that other good stuff. So I have the rest of the day to do nothing. So I'm gonna go over this, and
That sounds great.
rather than a big pot of nothing,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a lot more work to do. But I'm in. So my notes from Joe say Dr. Stevens was selected as the president-elect of the Obesity Society, plans to discuss the role with the society and the impact of the new obesity drugs. So we can
I
get to that
can
on
do
the back
that,
end.
sure.
We can do that on
Yeah.
the back end.
Okay.
Just go. The real estate thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got it right here. Ozempic and stuff. .738 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Yes, within that forecast you did hear there's a chance of rain for this afternoon. We will be keeping our eye on it because, well, also this afternoon LSU baseball regional play at the box starts up. Your start time as of right now is 2 p.m. But we do have one eye on the radar. All right, about once a month we get the opportunity to catch up with the folks from the Pennington Biomedical Research Center, which is what we're doing right now. Dr. Jackie Stevens is in studio with us. Dr. Stevens, good morning. Welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
One more time. Sorry.
Good morning. Thank you
There
for
are.
having
All right,
me.
cool.
Sorry.
No, glad to have you in here. So you work in the I know I'm going to mispronounce this, and I literally just asked you the adipocyte laboratory.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So,
Okay. What is that?
yeah, so an adipocyte is just a fancy word for a fat cell. So I've been studying fat cells for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Study them how? What type of research goes on over there?
Yeah, so the kind of research I do is very biochemical and molecular biology at the cellular level. So fat cells can play a really important role in the development of type 2 diabetes. So we look at pathogenesis, which is disease development. So we figure out different ways that type 2 diabetes can be caused.
Mm-hmm. The you have no shortage of samples out here. I mean, in Louisiana, this is kind of who we are and what we do. It's everywhere around us. So the effects of your work can be seen pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, the below I-10 or, we call the diabetes belt.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a lot of diabetes in the deep south.
What's new? What have we learned about fat tissue?
So yeah, in the last 10 years, I think we've learned things about fat tissue that, I think have really changed the field. So, I mean, I'm not going to go too technical, but if you look at fat tissue under a microscope, it looks like just all these big cells. And you would say, hey, like 95% of these cells are fat cells. But we know now that those fat cells, they take up like 95% of the mass. But actually, there's all these other little cells in there that represent over half the cells in adipose tissue. So only 50% of the cells or less in fat tissue are fat. There's other cell types there that are regulating metabolic processes and regulating fat cell development. So it's really enhanced the complexity of studying adipose tissue quite a bit.
So when you gain weight or lose weight, what happens with those other cells?
Yeah, so they definitely remodel. So every time, even during aging, it remodels. They can remodel by diet. If you eat too much or if you eat too little. So yeah, lots of investigators are studying how all those different cell types remodel as well.
We're talking with Dr. Jackie Stevens from the Pennington Biomedical Research Center about the adipocyte biology lab. Type 2 diabetes is a big one, but we have other problems in South Louisiana that are connected back to all the fat. Walk us through what else is out there.
That's right. So obesity not only puts you at a substantial risk for type 2 diabetes, the National Cancer Institute and CDC tells us that there are 14 different kinds of cancers, which you're at much higher risk at if you are obese. And also endocrine diseases and sleep apnea are greater in people that have obesity as well.
Do we know why added fat links back to cancer?
To cancer, I think that is a ongoing investigation. I mean, there's fatty acids that are stored in adipose tissue, and cancer cells can use those fatty acids for fuel because that's the thing that cancer cells do. They keep growing and dividing. So you need lots of energy. So you can get some of that energy from adipose tissue. But it's not just about that. There's actually factors that are secreted from adipocytes that can act on cancer cells to promote their growth as well.
We got Dr. Jackie Stevens with us talking about adipose tissue, talking about fat and some of the side effects, ramifications. Look, heart disease gets so many people down here.
Right.
It's like literally my whole family.
Mhm.
So that is an added warning sign, and added, something else to be on the lookout for when carrying around a lot of fat. Does it matter where we're carrying that fat?
Pardon?
Does it matter where we're
Yeah,
carrying
no,
that
so
fat?
that's a really really good question. So we kind of divide fat into two large categories: subcutaneous fat and visceral fat. So like, if you see somebody like with really big thighs and, big butt, that kind of fat doesn't really put you at increased metabolic risk. It's not so bad. But that other kind of fat called visceral fat, which is like under your rib cage or the fat that surrounds your internal organs, having more of that fat really puts you at risk of type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases, of course, are at much higher levels in people with obesity.
The yeah, it's belly fat over here. That's
Well, it's a
always been
kind
the
of belly
battle,
fat.
right?
If you can pinch it, it's probably not that bad. But if it's kind of hard and under your rib cage, then that's going to really have, you're going to have increased metabolic disease.
Okay.
So if it's that pinch, you
Yeah.
see some people just that kind of that flabby fat tends not to be so unhealthy.
That's encouraging. I'll take that all day long. We have seen in very recently the explosion of the obesity drugs, the
Like Ozempic.
Ozempic, Mounjaro, all the
Right.
semaglutide, tirzepatide, all
Yep.
those, they're everywhere now.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about who actually needs them versus, okay, is there anybody out there that shouldn't be taking those drugs, but should just be trying the old fashioned way to lose weight?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. People are obese, for different reasons. I mean, I think, people think it's just everyone who's obese just overeats and doesn't exercise, and we know that that's not true. So, I mean, I think that these drugs are available for obesity treatment. I mean, they're not effective for everyone, but they are largely effective. So they've been around for over a decade for the treatment of type 2 diabetes. But a few years ago, they were approved for the use, for the treatment of obesity. But the fact is they're not just good for diabetes and obesity. They greatly reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease. And they're in a lot of different clinical trials for different types of addiction, like alcoholism. So people who are on these drugs, they don't want to drink anymore.
Really?
Yes. Yes. So a lot of people who take these drugs report a substantial decrease in their alcohol intake.
And there's so many different things that's connected to the obesity on the front end. Like you said, the heart disease, the kidney disease, the sleep apnea, the cancer, all of everything we just talked about that you're at greater risk for when you are obese, you're lowering your risk for all of those other things because you're doing this as well. Now, that being said, what do we know about them long term? Like they can help you knock off weight, but they don't. Once you're off them, you're off them.
Yeah, no, so that's a disadvantage. All the evidence right now suggests, you're going to have to be on them, for the rest of your life. So, I mean, and I think, it's, insurance is not my area of expertise, but our insurance company is going to pay for that for the rest of people's lifetime. I don't know that. And what I really study in my lab is not those drugs, but that, a lot of people who are obese are healthy. They're metabolically healthy, so it's like what we figure out in my lab is how you can have excess adipose tissue or excess fat and still maintain your metabolic health and hopefully still be, protected at least a little bit from cardiovascular disease and kidney disease, etc.
We got just a couple minutes left with Dr. Jackie Stevens from the Pennington Biomedical Research Center. Let's talk about the application or just how far these drugs can go.
Yeah.
Because I feel like every day another door opens. And like you just said, if we're moving this over to treating addictions as well, just how far and how widespread can they go? Like, it feels like it's just full on foot on the gas.
I feel the same way actually. And I think that we're in our infancy, right? Because right now, all these drugs, there's one that's oral, but it's not very effective. But right now, all these drugs have to be injected. And so a lot of people think that's kind of barbaric. And people didn't think for a long time that injectable drugs would be taken by society. And so all these companies now are developing, these pharmaceutical companies are trying to develop the drugs that are like these, but that you can take orally. And so I think that's going to blow the doors off. So there's still a bunch of injectables that are in
Right.
clinical trials. And now there are all these oral medications, and I think when they're available orally, they're going to be a lot cheaper because to produce the drug, a lot of it is just that needle device that people use to inject themselves.
So we also have a partnership with the folks at Lake Urgent Care.
Hmm.
They've got it now to where you don't have to go in every time for every injection. You could self-inject,
Hmm.
and like that's another level. And the thing of it is, Dr. Stevens, they work.
Yes, they do.
Um, every Thursday on the show, we do a segment called Cup of Tech Gumbo.
Uh-huh.
The host of Tech Gumbo, Haggai Davis, he's visible results. The results are super you can I see it in front of my face every single week. Like, oh my gosh, these things actually work. So would there be any reason at all just to continue to like the old eat less, move around more?
Yeah.
I mean, are we setting ourselves up on the back end for something else because I don't want to get too far away from the formula,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope not. I mean, I hope that people still continue to eat healthy because I think food is kind of like medicine.
Yeah.
And also exercise is good for you for lots of ways. It's great for mental health, cardiovascular health. So I think, even if these drugs became extremely commonplace in our lifetime, I still think that, the importance of taking care of yourself and exercise is still going to be absolutely critical.
Where do we go from here? What are you looking forward to next in your research?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a biomedical researcher because I like to discover things. So to me, figuring out new pathways that, contribute to disease states so that might be a drug target that could benefit human health is of great interest to me.
So what's your favorite part with the finding new things? And what's your favorite part about doing what you do?
Um, I mean, I don't do lab work anymore, so I guess my favorite part is, I have LSU undergrads and PhD students in the lab, and I like working with a team of people that have a variety of different expertise. And also, I've been able to travel a lot for my job and, give talks in all, dozens of different countries, and I love that.
She is Dr. Jackie Stevens from the Pennington Biomedical Research Center. I mean, and I'm forever amazed. Like we have this world-renowned gem right there on Perkins at Kenilworth. And to us, it's just that big building on Perkins at Kenilworth. To the rest of the world, it's the source of so much great research and information. I really, really appreciate what you do. Appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. 750 at Talk 107.3 FM. Wins that don't involve insurance. We'll go back to our interview with the governor next.
Is that okay?
That was wonderful. I
was a little
intentionally
nervous,
avoided the
sorry.
last question because I didn't
Yeah,
know if you wanted to
no,
get
that's
political or
fine.
whatnot.
No, I wasn't going to get too political. I just wanted to say how indirect costs, like pay the groundskeepers and the dishwashers and But yeah, no, I know. All right.
See, you got to let the subjects keep the grounds. I mean, sweat it out a little bit. You want to be part. If you want to be part of a research study, grab a mower.
It was nice to meet you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
All right. Bo just texted me, said everything should be working again.
Cool.
Should be back up.
7:55 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Thanks again to Dr. Stevens for stopping by. Really good stuff. The work they do over there is so underrated, at least here locally it is, which is why I love talking to them every chance I get. We got ABC News coming up about 5 minutes from right now. State Representative Mike Bayham going to join us next hour. We are also talking with Hunt Palmer next hour to get a preview for LSU baseball and the upcoming regional. Right now, though, I want to go back to yesterday's interview with Governor Landry. Insurance was obviously be the hot topic. He did, like I said, setting up the other segment, he fired out the blocks at like 1,000 miles an hour. He like I could barely get a question out of my mouth before he started talking about the insurance front. So on the back end of the interview, I was able to ask him, okay, insurance is great, and we've had a laser focus on that. I touted this at the beginning of the session. I didn't think we were going to see this much actual movement on insurance if we didn't have an insurance-specific special session where your only topic from start to finish is insurance. We had a lot more done than I would have ever predicted because it's a general session. It's a fiscal session, which means all eyes on the budget. And then you're allowed 5 bills elsewhere. So what is that elsewhere? What else came into play in this session? What other wins did we end up seeing when not talking about insurance? Here's what the governor had to say about some other wins. Outside of the insurance stuff, what else has gotten done in this session that you're going to look back on and say, this is going to make change in Louisiana?
Well, I can tell you we are restructuring the Department of Transportation and Development. It's something that the legislature decided to tackle this year. And I got to tell you, they're doing a fine job of being able to do that in such a short session. I think that we continue to be responsible in the way that we are budgeting. A couple of other signatures we're working on, some improvements in our energy sector. I am hopeful that we will get a legacy bill, which is something that has plagued the energy industry for some time. It's the number of lawsuits that have been affecting oil and gas. I think there's a bill that's moving through the session right now. I'm hopeful that we are going to land that and get that done.
Mhm.
So I think that when we'll look back, I think that you see that this session, while it was a fiscal only session, one of the biggest hallmarks is going to be the improvement of our legal environment in the state of Louisiana.
They went back to the legal environment on the back end. All the legal stuff tied in with the insurance stuff, or has tied in with the insurance stuff. So it's hard to separate those two, but he led with Department of Transportation. And I found that very interesting because that hasn't been on anybody's radar yet. So we will dive in on that. Also, speaking of the legal environment, one of the things that's going to be looked at, scrutinized, I should say, is a bill by State Representative Mike Bayham that extends authority to our Attorney General's office when it comes to enforcement, and puts together basically, a task force with the ability to arrest. We talked about this during Legally Served on Wednesday. I want to talk about it a lot more when Mike Bayham stops by, which that's why I called him to talk about that bill in particular. There was a report on Unfiltered with Kyrin talking about how we may have been making unlawful arrests for the last 20 plus years. So we're going to dive into that when Mike Bayham stops by in about 20 minutes from right now. Right now, we are 1 minute away from news. Within that minute, I get to tell you about the folks at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com. As the school year wraps up and summertime is upon us, is your kid ready for their first checking account or first savings account? This is where Landmark Bank is like stellar, right? Yes, when it comes to borrowing, they can help you out. Yes, when it comes to launching a new business, they can help you out. Yes, when it comes to your personal banking, they can help you out. But when you're starting a new checking or savings account for your kid, you want a relationship. They're in the relationship business. They've been a community bank since 1897. LandmarkBankLA.com. What you say, Rich?
Hey, question. I played Slow Rider. I played the theme from Shaft. What the hell? Why would a House bill be introduced so you can get your windows tinted darker? Like that guy has nothing else to worry about for the people he represents.
Who put that out there?
Representative Desautels. It's on the governor's desk. It passed to get windows tinted darker. Like you don't have nothing else to worry about.
I don't even know about this bill.
Yeah. It's 119.
And Desautels solid.
I know he's a Republican, and I saw a picture of his family. It looks normal. Like who in his district goes, dude? We got to get our windows tinted darker. What can you do? I don't get it, dude.
Decreases the minimum light transmission percentage allowable for the front side window tint of motor vehicles.
What the hell? He's all like in the middle part of the state, Acadian, Evangeline, Parrot, all of that. What's the benefit of that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's so unlike him.
Dude, I know. That's why I had to go.
I don't know. I don't like. Where do you, Daryl? What the?
Well, him and I are gonna be cruising the boulevard over the weekend. I bet his kids are out there cleaning off his curb fields. Dude, I went down the list. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Oh. You going to the game today?
Dude, who gives a rat ticket? Just today's game, we pay like $100 something for just the regional tickets. Dude, we had 2 tickets. She put it on like whatever she sells it. $200, and we only paid $100 for the whole weekend. But whatever. Yeah, people, man, it's amazing what people pay. It's incredible. Sick of that shit. I sit home, go to Phil's, drink a beer, and watch it on TV. Yeah, are you producing?
Tomorrow I'm producing. Today I'm single dad. Wife's got a girls trip with her.
Where they going?
Grand Isle.
Dude, I'm gonna come over with a Cheetos tonight. You and I gotta get crazy.
Let's go. Let's get ripped.
James gonna have a shot with it?
Oh hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna rip Rocco again right here. So have the poop committee ready. China. No. It's gonna rain for like an hour. Because I told him to. My online listener. And they both found Facebook. I was like how the Facebook see the app's not working. I'm like, well, you got me here now, so stick around. I don't get shit from the numbers on the app. Right? Not even Mary J. Blige can help me out this morning. Keep it going, though.
The song never gets old, by the way.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
it's just like
Just so good. Gosh. Classic banger. And you know the side part of this, side note, in the video, she's boiled crawfish.
I don't remember that.
I do.
Wow.
I know. It's like, is she in Louisiana? I don't know. You know, people in Texas like to claim they have boiled crawfish now, too.
Get out of here.
So stupid.
Get out of here.
So stupid. But Mary
Go
J
back
can't
home,
do it. The original queen can't do it for me. I'm gonna be bummed and or pissed all morning long.
You need some more slow jam.
No, I don't need slow jams. Oh, no.
Mary
Don't.
J.
Yeah, I
Maybe
was going
some
to say,
slower.
you were about to spoil what's coming Monday. Don't you do it.
Nope.
We got something fun planned for Monday. It involves hurricane season because hurricane season will start on Sunday. No, but the reason I'm bummed is because from Memorial Day through Labor Day, we are bringing you Foodie Friday presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. From Memorial Day through Labor Day, it's quote unquote grilling season. Not that we don't grill year round around here, but you know, that's the unofficial grilling season, the unofficial association with summer and whatnot. And the Beef Industry Council teams up with us, and we like to celebrate beef in all of its forms, not just on the grill, but when folks like Rocco over at Rocco's Po' Boys, Rocco's New Orleans Style Po' Boys on Drusilla, when he gets in here, it's always a good time. It's always a lot of fun. Well, stupid Rocco, he went to Florida for Memorial Day week. He does it every year. He goes there for Memorial Day week every year, and caught some bad weather yesterday and said, howdy, I can't drive in the rain. So Rocco, our favorite, our absolute favorite. I don't know, man. Paul Modenka from Kuyons, he's moving up those charts right now. Rocco's about to get demoted. Where are we gonna put him?
Put them on the toilet bowl committee or the poop committee.
That's right. He's on the poop committee
That's
now. Howdy, I can't drive in the rain.
I can't drive in the rain.
So no Foodie Friday today, presented by, it's still every week it's presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. But now we're gonna be hungry all morning.
I know.
No
We're
roast beef.
Starving.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's keep on track. Let's keep on task. Let's keep on time. It's time for This Day in History presented by 5 Star Printing and Signs.
Back in time.
By the way, we got Moon coming on Monday,
Oh, yeah?
and he's coming in studio on Tuesday.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Speaking of people that can't drive in the rain,
let's hope it doesn't rain.
put Moon on the poop committee.
Man. Wouldn't that suck to get put on the poop committee?
You can't
when
give
you've
me-
come up with the poop committee?
Look, I try so hard to be a grown-up on this show.
For sure.
If
I
you're
understand
Moon,
that.
you can't give me audio like that.
Yeah. So you're going to take it. We're going to run with it.
A little bit too much.
Hey, in 1806, future U.S. President Andrew Jackson kills Charles Dickinson in a duel after Dickinson accused Jackson's wife of bigamy.
Really?
Yeah. How's that for a start? Man, that's wild. That is wild. That's where I'm starting today.
Okay, first of all, we haven't had a president who's won a duel in a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You know, look, you really want to make America great again? Give me a president that can win a duel.
There you go.
Boy, if the Oscars were like that, I'd watch.
If only. You just slap each other.
So he accused Andrew Jackson's wife of having another husband?
Yeah.
Not just not just
right. No. She's got another husband. Jackson's like, what?
All right.
1868, Decoration Day, later called Memorial Day, is first observed in northern United States.
Okay. Memorial Day is a way better name for it.
Oh, yeah.
Decoration Day.
Decoration Day.
What kind of Martha Stewart holiday is that?
Right. Exactly.
Decoration Day.
Yeah.
No, Memorial Day, damn it.
Maybe we should change this.
Yeah.
You have a better name? Yeah, how about Memorial Day? Oh.
Yeah, you're right. That is better.
Yeah. Okay. You win. 1922, completed Lincoln Memorial dedicated by U.S. Chief Justice William Howard Taft.
You ever been to the Lincoln Memorial?
I haven't.
It's huge.
How is it?
It's huge. It's gorgeous.
Oh, I bet.
Absolutely
man.
gorgeous.
That view, probably.
Well, when you turn around and look at the reflecting
That's what I'm
pond,
saying,
oh yeah, it really is. I mean, just the sheer size of it is just, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's why I love going to Washington D.C.
Yeah,
it's just humbling to see what has happened in our nation's capital, what we pay tribute to, and that's one of the best there is.
That is awesome.
What else happened today?
Were you a fan of Evel Knievel? Because today in 1967, he jumped 16 automobiles on his motorcycle in California.
Big fan of Evel Knievel. In fact, we need more Evel Knievel type stuff going on today.
Oh yeah,
it's another thing. You want to make America great again? Let's jump over a shark infested pool or something.
Yeah.
Well, that was Fonzie, but
still, but still, look at this. 1971, 36 hospitalized during a Grateful Dead concert because they drank LSD apple juice. Of course they did.
Wow.
Grateful
Okay.
Dead, of
Yeah.
course, right?
Yep.
Oh man. 1989, Margaret Ray pleads guilty to breaking into David Letterman's house. What?
Okay.
I wonder if he was home.
Yeah.
Hey, R. Kelly was charged today in 2019 with 11 new counts of sexual assault and abuse in Chicago.
Okay.
So that happened today
That
as
happened
well.
today.
Watched an interview with him recently. This is a throwback.
With R. Kelly?
Yeah, it was a throwback. He's like, so the interviewer was like, so you into teenage girls? He's like, explain teenager. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? Come on, R. Kelly. Come on.
Any answer to that question, it just isn't
Yeah,
no.
just like
it's
no.
the wrong answer.
What do you mean by teenager?
Everything else is the wrong. What do you mean by teenager?
R. Kelly.
The answer's no. R.
Yeah. Come on.
All right. Birthdays. What we got?
Oh man, I got a slow damn birthdays. I got Winona Judd.
Okay.
Let's see who else we got. That's just pretty much what
all right. Well, I got
Idina
a few more.
Menzel.
I got okay. All right. How about Benny Goodman?
Okay.
Yeah, Benny Goodman, born on this day. How about Mel Blanc?
Mel Blanc was the next
Creator
one. Yeah.
Bugs Bunny is
Right
on
here.
is on the list for today. How about I gotta scroll back up here. Hang on. Gail Sayers, born on this day. Oh, hang on. Before we move, I'll get back to birthdays in just a second. But Condon reminded us before the show even started this morning. Today is the 39th anniversary of LSU's first appearance in the College World Series. 39 years ago today, LSU played their first game in Omaha. Lost to Loyola Marymount. Came back 2 days later and beat Maine, if I'm not mistaken. So that happened on this day in history. By the way, also back to the birthdays. CeeLo Green.
Okay, keeping it music related.
Yep.
Tom Morello.
Okay.
Guitarist for Rage Against the Machine.
All right. And then on back to the sports front here, I got a couple for today. Billy Donovan, former Florida head coach. Now he's a Bulls coach. Manny Ramirez, former Red Sox and Indians outfielder. And from the world of wrestling, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
As far as deaths go, I got Joan of Arc today.
Same.
Was burned at the stake today.
Yeah. It's a rough day.
I know.
Also died today. Died on this day in 1778. Voltaire.
Yeah. Also have 2015 Beau Biden as well.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then Alexander Pope, English author Alexander Pope, died on this day in 1744.
Yes,
those are the ones I got.
National days here. You know what? National Creativity Day. Stay creative, people.
That's that. We can roll with that.
Stay creative.
8:16 to Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break. Come back. State Representative Mike Bayham's next. Let me give you Mike's number. Oh. Oh. 818 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We go back to the legislative session, back to the hotline. We got State Representative Mike Bayham from Chalmette on with us. Mike, Representative Bayham, welcome back. How are you, man?
Doing fine, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning. Before we get into your bills, we have some serious business to talk about. Before we get into your bills, I have to give you kudos for being the last sane person in the House of Representatives over there at the state capitol, because laws should not be written just because Jay Luna gets pissed off in traffic.
Yeah, Jay wasn't too happy about that, but here's the thing. When you have it where you need to carry the book of statutes in your car when trying to determine which lane you need to get in to avoid getting a ticket is a little bit much. And let's be honest, we don't need to come up with new reasons to pull people off to the side of the road, which is dangerous, because if you're on the shoulder and you have high speed of traffic zipping right past you, you're just as likely to get into an accident there as you would on the road. And secondly, if a policeman is pulling someone over for not going as fast as they should in the left-hand lane, well, while they're writing that poor person a ticket who's not speeding, someone speeding could be zipping down who's a far more greater threat to other motorists than the person that's being ticketed just being ticketed. And I just think it's bad practice. Whenever you're pulling someone over for a minor offense, you're letting someone who's committing a worse offense get away and be a threat to other drivers.
Yes. We want to ticket somebody who's driving too slow in the left-hand lane. Meanwhile, 10 people got out of the Orleans Parish Prison and crossed that very same interstate. So I would rather our police officers, I would rather all of our law enforcement officials paying attention to things that actually matter and not just something that grinds Senator Luno's gears.
Well, I mean, Senator Luno's got a long drive. I think he's Natchitoches, so I guess when you're on the highway that long, a person can get perturbed. And look, I don't like people that slow poke in the left lane or any lane. I mean, you have people that drive well below the 45 mile per hour minimum on the interstate, and they're a threat because they back up traffic and force other people to hit the brakes just because they're lollygagging along, or they shouldn't be driving on the interstate if they're intimidated by that. But my old driver's ed teacher used to joke that bringing a student on the interstate is the stupidest thing in the world, because you're not learning anything. You're in a straight line most of the time, and you have no stops. You have no pedestrian crossings. You learn nothing.
Right.
So interstate's actually one of the safest places to drive, but it reminds me of what you have with these states, and Louisiana is going to be enacting, unfortunately, one of these laws soon regarding holding your phone in your hand while driving. When you're ticketing a person for doing that, even though they're not doing any other violation, in terms of being a reckless driver, you're letting other people that are doing things get away. And I remember when I was pulled over in Florida while evacuating from a hurricane years ago for holding my phone up just to see what exit I needed to take out.
Right.
They had cars going on the turnpike at least 30 miles over the speed limit, and I was just sitting there like a duck while all these cars were zipping past, and I was afraid I was going to get hit there. And of course, the next person the cop pulled over after pulling me over was a senior citizen couple that wasn't speeding. They weren't doing anything wrong, but I call it revenue harvesting. It's when you ticket people not for public safety, but to just fill the local coffers with money.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh, totally. But I don't know how that level of reason wasn't the resounding voice. I mean, I think every time I've mentioned it on the show, Mike, every time I mention it on the show, I get response with, hell yeah, it ought to be a law. And I'm like, no. What's he going to tackle next session? People talking on speaker on their cell phones in a grocery store?
Lots of people think lots of things should be law until they are law. Then they realize that probably wasn't a good idea. Just remember this: you have 144 legislators from across the state of Louisiana. You have people that are on the highway all the time, trying to rush back to their real jobs because, let's be honest, this job pays less than a janitor.
Yep.
And so I get it. A lot of my colleagues are anxious to go home and they're impatient. They got things to do. And that's probably why this group of people is more sensitive to this matter than the general public of Louisiana.
We got State Representative Mike Bayham with us. Okay, I actually brought you on to talk about one of your bills, but
this is an issue I like. This is an issue I like talking about because I never thought I'd see the Democratic caucus so eager to have people pulled over to the side of the road and ticketed by the police. But here we are.
It's
brave new world.
Putting more power in the hands of the state police. I mean, yeah, that's definitely not the norm from the last few years, to be sure. House Bill 303. Let's talk about it. It creates the Fugitive Apprehension Unit. Mike, I don't know if you saw Kyrin Minor. She has the website Unfiltered with Kyrin, independent investigative journalist. She cites your bill as part of a bigger problem with the AG's office. Have you seen that report?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't seen the report. What's her issue with it?
Her issue is that it's possible that the AG's office hasn't had arresting powers over the last 20 years, and they've been arresting people. I want to talk about what was the genesis of your bill creating the Fugitive Apprehension Unit to fall under the AG's office?
Well, basically, it's existed since 2008. In practice, this bill puts it in statute, and the Fugitive Apprehension Unit has been engaged with the manhunt on the escapees from Orleans Parish Prison. They apprehended Gary Price, who was one of the escapees, and they've provided a great deal of assistance to law enforcement bureaus and agencies that don't have the resources to tackle this particular area, which is important to public safety.
So, okay, the way you phrase that, this unit has existed in practice. This puts it in statute. So, have they been kind of just running all willy nilly without the law behind them?
I wouldn't say running willy nilly. Your Attorney General. Since I guess that would have been Buddy Caldwell at that year, 2008, on this unit, and this just simply codifies it into law.
State Representative Mike Bayham is with us. Okay, what goes along with putting it into law? Because you set up parameters, you make sure the funding is there. So walk me through how it's built.
Funding's there through the department. What this does is it makes it a permanent feature within the Attorney General's office, so that, let's just say we have a different Attorney General. Well, I mean, because this unit's not on the books and statute, well, they could just arbitrarily not have it anymore. Well, this makes it a permanent piece of the crime-fighting arsenal of your Attorney General.
It feels like it's pretty cut and dry, Mike. Is that you're spelling out what has been there before. But it's like this is making it quote unquote officially official. Have you seen any? I mean, have you got any real pushback on this bill? Is it looking like it's a 100% go here?
Well, nothing's really 100% go in the legislature. There are bills that look like that were unsinkable, only to get torpedoed at the last second. But I feel pretty comfortable where we are, particularly what we have going on in New Orleans, even on a more extraordinary nature than usual, with the Shawshank detention. Though that wasn't Morgan Freeman and Andy Dufresne breaking out of prison. These folks that were out on the loose, I think two of them are still at large, got pretty serious rap sheets, and they are a danger to the public. But they have been the Fugitive Apprehension Unit has been engaged with trying to track these escapees down, and they did play a major role in nabbing Mr. Gary Price. So I think there's going to be a lot of sympathy to lock this in because people will see the value of having this unit in Louisiana statute.
Got just a couple
And
minutes
making
left.
it a permanent fixture of the Attorney General's office.
Got just a couple minutes left with State Representative Mike Bayham. It says that the unit shall coordinate and assist with state, federal, and local law enforcement to apprehend fugitives, pursue individuals who have violated court-ordered electronic monitoring programs, execute arrest warrants, and give priority to fugitives wanted for violent felony offenses. When you say coordinate and assist with state and federal officials, do they have the power to go out on their own and do this, or do they have to like ride along with?
I think that they would be working in conjunction with these other agencies, but they're part of the Attorney General's office. So I know the Liz Murrow, our Attorney General, has been very what's the word I'm looking for? Determined to try to make our state safer, and she's been very energetic in her duties, and that's to be commended. But I think that this is something that they work in conjunction with some agencies. And also you have jurisdictional issues that the FAU would be able to help bridge, because you may have someone that escapes, flees into a different jurisdiction, and the jurisdiction where that person's wanted can't make that pursuit. Well, the FAU will be able to bridge that gap for them.
We got Mike Bayham with us for just another minute. Mike, as much as I want to talk more about that bill, I do want to spend the last minute here. Give me the 10,000-foot view, man. There's less than 2 weeks to go. Your report card as we get into the home stretch for this session is what?
On the session or me?
Session overall.
Oh, I think it's we've tackled a lot of insurance issues that needed to be done. A lot of us agreed with Commissioner Temple that we needed to have a special session on insurance. This has been the special session on insurance, and we've made a lot of strides on auto insurance and further ratcheted up things on property insurance. So hopefully we'll start to reap some of the benefits of some of the laws we've changed to make Louisiana a more friendlier environment for insurance companies to do business and bring in more competition, which contributes to reduction of rates. So that's been a big thing. Beyond that, we're still in a good, healthy position, but we are working to redo the amendment package for the April election of 2026, broken down to smaller parts. So hopefully the public will embrace those changes, which will further solidify our financial standing, so we're not facing drastic financial straits in the future.
In the last 2 weeks of the session, where is your main focus right now? Anything on your agenda that you still need to get across the finish line, or you've moved on to other things?
No, we've had some wins so far, but I would say the fugitive apprehension unit is one of my priorities, and getting that done. My bills were pretty various. I think I had to go before 5 or 6 different committees. The one area I'm a little disappointed, I did have a no tax on tips bill that stalled in Ways and Means. I felt that it was very important that we do something to help working families out, people on the lower end of the wage earning side. We've done a lot of aggressive tax cuts for business, and I felt that needed to be balanced out by providing tax relief for people that are wage earners and people that do overtime. And unfortunately, the powers that be felt that we didn't have the financial wherewithal to provide that type of help. But that's not a fight I'm going to give up on. And our next opportunity to do something on that area, I'm going to pursue it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the more we get clarification on what's going to rebound from CA2, the more we can start to work on individual tax issues as well, because we'll have a better idea of where the state's money will be coming from. In the meanwhile, he is State Representative Mike Bayham. Let's get you on as soon as the session's over with for a full recap.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Good talking.
Likewise, always. If you see those flashing lights in your rearview mirror, that's Senator Luno, so hit the gas. We we missed ABC News. Here's your local news, traffic, weather. We talk LSU baseball next. Oh. Yeah, I lost 0.3 of a pound from last week to this week, and it's monumental. 0.3 of a pound, a monumental 0.3, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
I went from 250.2 to 249.9.
Okay.
I'm under that 250 mark, and I'm never going back. I know it's the weight loss is minimal. It's a busy week, and a holiday week too. The weight loss is minimal, but the visual of seeing that number on the scale is energizing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, man. Shoot. Yeah, that's good stuff. What the hell? I don't think I have Hunt's number. Is he calling in or?
Oh, yes, we could do this over the phone. You need Hunt's number?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you had it.
I know. I thought I did too. To be honest,
It works here.
that's what I'm saying. Let's see. Hey, good morning. Hi. Hey, John. Brian. Yeah, we can have you on the
Right now, it's all about the minute by minute, hour by hour forecast for today. And well, here's what we got cooking. There's a 40% chance of rain in the forecast today, but it's a matter of when is that going to get here. As it stands right now, it looks like that 40% chance of rain is going to hit somewhere around the between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. It's possible we have a 30% chance of rain starting at 2 p.m. and then it steps up during the 3 o'clock hour and it starts to scale back a little bit between 4 and 5 and then clears right out of here. So that then becomes a matter of not just the when, but the where. Why? Because of LSU baseball going on at the box. 2 p.m. start time on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. It is possible we could see a short rain delay. You know how Jay Johnson rolls. Once that clears out of here, though, it's going to be absolutely awesome, downright fantastic over the course of the weekend. So your high today is only getting up to 86. We're going to get down to 65 tonight. We'll top out tomorrow at 85 and then Sunday at 86. Overnight lows in the mid 60s on Saturday. Overnight low getting down to 70 on Sunday into Monday morning. So once this chance of rain clears through, we're looking at an absolutely picture perfect weekend for baseball at the box. Now, looking ahead to next week, we'll be back up to around 90 degrees for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. No real chance of rain, below a 25% chance of rain every day for next week. Right now, we got some partly cloudy skies out there, and we are looking at 79 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. $8:39, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Weather permitting, it'll be baseball at the box at 2 p.m. Joining us now to talk about it, Hunt Palmer. How are you, man?
Doing quite well, Mr. Haldane. How are you this morning?
Doing very well as well. All right, regional baseball, the obvious starting point, as always, when you're one of the best teams in the country and you're playing a team with a losing record, are you going to throw your ace? Do we know if Jay Johnson is throwing his ace today?
Nobody outside that building knows, and that's the way Jay Johnson likes to keep it. He doesn't see any advantage in announcing a starting pitcher a day or two early to allow the other team to scout him as closely as they may not if they don't know. So that's the way he thinks, and that's the way he's always going to do it. So, no, we won't find out until 90 minutes before the first pitch of LSU is going to start. Now, we've watched Jay Johnson for 3 years, and I believe that Cade Anderson will get the ball today. He's LSU's most dynamic starting pitcher, but they've got two of those with Anthony Ianson as well. So I expect to see Cade Anderson, but I heard you get the weather report. If that scares him off a little bit, potentially you could see someone else like Jaden Newt. But right now, I would expect to see Cade Anderson.
This is, I don't want to say a controversial take to run your ace out there when you're playing a team with a losing record. What's your take on that? I mean, we saw Paul Skeens on game 1 2 years ago. What's your take on how to run the pitchers out there to manage a regional and then super regional weekends?
So I think running Paul Skeens out there when he is far and away your best pitcher against the worst team in the tournament is controversial. You will find some people that say it's the right thing to do. You will find more people that say that's not the right thing to do. I did not think it was the right thing to do because they didn't really have a second starter on that team established. Ty Floyd became that 3 weeks later, but he wasn't that day. And so I didn't like that at all. In this instance, LSU's really got two aces. Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson for the last 5 weeks have been basically the same pitcher. They've both been phenomenal. It's probably the best 1-2 punch in a rotation in college baseball. So I don't think you're burning your ace today because you've got another one coming up tomorrow. And so that puts LSU in a little bit different position than they were 2 years ago when they did pitch Paul Skeens. I could get on board with LSU trying to throw its third, fourth, fifth pitchers today to get by the lowest RPI team in the tournament, potentially the worst team in the tournament, to save your other two guys for Saturday and Sunday. But I also see an advantage in throwing Cade Anderson out there. The very strong likelihood, not guarantee, but likelihood, is that he goes 6 or 7 very good innings and you're in control of the game. And then at that point, you can kind of use whatever bullpen arms you'd like to use, and you're in a great position tomorrow with Anthony Ianson ready to go. So I think it's fine.
The pitching into this, I like where we're at. I would rather flip flop them, and then actually, if needed, hold one of them until Sunday. But that's neither here nor there. We'll find out 90 minutes before game time how it's actually going to play out. I want to flip it around and talk about Little Rock because this is a team that, if not for a great run in the Ohio Valley Conference tournament, they're not here at all. Tell me what we can expect from Little Rock.
Yeah, they lost 13 of their last 14 games in the season and went to the Ohio Valley Conference tournament as the number 8 seed. and of course, then won 5 games in 4 days. So that's baseball's the only sport where that can happen.
Yeah.
And it did. This is a program that's been fairly good. They won their league's regular season last year and have had good teams. This has been an injured team and not a very good team. Their ace will throw today, and 2 years ago, he led the nation in ERA in front of Paul Skeet. Now, he has not been as good the last 2 years, and this year his ERA is over 5.5 in the Ohio Valley Conference. So this is not some guy that's going to be the 9th pick in the draft. He just happened to have really good numbers 2 years ago. They're going to throw him out there. He threw 127 pitches last week. So we'll see how his arm responds and how he responds. But this is not a very good Little Rock team relative to the NCAA tournament field. It's a team that LSU should handle today. But as we know, baseball is baseball.
Aside from the numbers on the box scores or the numbers on the stat sheet, what do we get with this pitcher? What does he throw? Low 90s, mid 90s? Does he got, some stuff that moves around?
It'll be a fastball around 90 to 92 miles an hour and a breaking ball that he'll throw in there. He's a fifth-year senior. He's an old guy. I don't expect him, as we have seen at times with teams coming into the box, I don't expect him to come out there and walk 6 guys in the first 3 innings and just panic. I've watched that in regionals before with LSU. I think he'll be fine, but this is a significant step down for LSU than the competition they've seen for the last 11 weeks in SEC play.
What about with the bats? What is Little Rock bringing?
Not a lot, Brian. Not a lot. It's a team that just doesn't hit the ball very well. You're talking about a lot of batting averages in the 260s for a team in the Ohio Valley, and that's how you lose 13 of your last 14 games. It's just not a club that's gonna scare LSU too much offensively, especially with Cade Anderson out there, who's handcuffed teams all year. I believe he's the nation's leader in strikeouts now after the SEC tournament, where Liam Doyle got hit around a little bit. So if Anderson pitches, I would be pretty stunned to see Little Rock score 4 or 5 runs off of him. That would be pretty shocking. However, I say that 12 years ago, LSU put the National Pitcher of the Year out there in Aaron Nola against Sam Houston State, and Sam Houston State scored 5 runs in the first inning. So you never know with baseball, but it's not a team that should threaten Cade Anderson and LSU today if all goes relatively according to plan.
Okay, then following up on that, what the hell got into Little Rock last weekend? How they go on a 5-game run to win a conference tournament?
They had 2 pitchers throw complete games.
That
they
helps.
got some big hits. You're playing Ohio Valley teams. You're not playing LSU and Arkansas and Tennessee, so that helps. It's just a freakish happenstance. It's the exact same thing that happened with Tulane 2 years ago, where they were 20 games below 500 and then went on a run in the American and won it. Tulane almost did it this year. Baseball just allows for that. It's not like football where the bigger, stronger, faster team lines up and knocks you out of the way every time. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, Nichols can never beat LSU in football. It just can't be done. Right. One of the in-state teams beats LSU in baseball every year. Northwestern State ruled LSU this year. So if you get hot, you start feeling good, and then when you get to the end of those conference tournaments, pretty much everybody's out of pitching, and it's just a battle of attrition, and Little Rock won it this time around.
While I have no worries about our pitching, I want to bring it back around to LSU and talk hitting. Is this going to take Pedro Serrano sacrificing a live chicken to get the bats where they need to be?
I don't know if anybody needs to run down to the local fried chicken joint like they did in the movie. I think LSU will be okay. Again, this is not relevant when we get to Omaha if LSU gets there, but for this weekend, LSU has been facing for 11 weeks the best pitching in America. There's just everybody in the league has got guys that throw 98 miles an hour, and they come at you with 6'6" left-handers, and it's just a different animal. LSU hit it great in February and March. They hit it really good in the midweek against a lot of the in-state schools. And I expect that LSU will hit Rhode Island and Little Rock and Dallas Baptist far better than they did last week or the week before that in SEC play. It was concerning to watch LSU again away from home, not come up with anything, and to come into the tournament coming off the lone shutout that's been pitched against you all year is not a comforting feeling.
Right.
But I think this is a weekend when the weather warms up in Baton Rouge, the box play is more hitter friendly. This is not elite pitching that LSU can see. Dallas Baptist got a couple of guys that can get it up there 95, 96. One of them, Micah Bucknam, was on LSU's team the last 2 years as a reliever that was kind of lightly used, but he's been their ace this year to tell you kind of the difference in the two programs and levels. LSU should swing the bats this weekend, especially as the weekend goes on. If LSU can win these first two games on Friday and Saturday, and then come around to Sunday where that's somebody's fourth game of the weekend, that's going to be some low-level pitching that LSU should pounce on. That's traditionally what we've seen. That's why LSU's won 24 of 27 regionals in Baton Rouge. That's just LSU usually out-talents these teams as the weekend goes on.
Likelihood that Rhode Island can hang with DBU?
I find it reasonably likely. Here's something for LSU fans to pay attention to. You don't have to watch the game, but just maybe monitor tonight. Rhode Island is a good hitting team. Rhode Island has one pitcher, Tristan Levesque. He's good. He's left-handed. They played Oregon, who is a host this year. Earlier this season, he threw 10 shutout innings against Oregon. He's a fifth-year senior. He's been good for them for 2 years. He's going to pitch tonight against Dallas Baptist. He's the only pitcher they've got. Everybody else's ERA is 5, 6, 7, 8, which is very bad. So if Levesque has his stuff tonight and beats Dallas Baptist, and LSU can handle Little Rock, all of a sudden you're playing a Rhode Island team without its pitcher. And that is a massive advantage to LSU. So if LSU can handle its business against Little Rock today, I think it's reasonable for LSU fans to watch that night game and go, all right, Rhode Island, let's see how good this left-hander is. And if they can win this game with Levesque on the mound, LSU's in the catbird seat come Saturday evening.
Assuming everything goes to plan this weekend and LSU survives their own regional, looking ahead to next week, man, I don't think Clemson has the easiest draw here. Clemson in on their side of the regional, looking ahead to the Super Regional, it's a tough road for them to get out of their own backyard.
They've got two Power Five teams there. West Virginia was leading the Big 12 all year, lost their last two series. And then you got Kentucky from the SEC. This is not a very good Kentucky team. They're one of the last teams in the field, and they don't hit it great and they don't pitch it great. They did a good job of not getting swept very often. So they won 13 league games and found a way into the field. They played tough against Vanderbilt the last weekend of the year and got walked off twice, but I don't think they're great. Clemson's got by far the best pitcher in that regional, and I think he'll go tomorrow. So I would favor Clemson. But yeah, West Virginia and Kentucky are better than the two seeds in Baton Rouge and the 2 and 3 seeds in Baton Rouge. So it'll be interesting to watch. And certainly the winner of the Baton Rouge Regional, the winner of the Clemson Regional matchup next week. And if you're LSU, you'd probably rather see West Virginia or Kentucky than Clemson. But I think LSU's better than all three of those teams.
Last one before we get you out of here, and you can respond to that fire alarm or whatever was going on. Last one before we get you out of here. Did I miss something, or is LSU the only Louisiana school in the tournament here? I mean, did nobody else from the state make it?
Nobody else in the state made it. Tulane was one game away. Southeastern had a really nice year. McNeese had a really nice year, but those teams are going to have to win their conference tournament to get in, and they just came up a little bit short. I wouldn't say it was a down year across the state because I thought Southeastern and McNeese had really strong years, and I thought that Nichols was pretty good. But it doesn't matter for those teams really what you do from the middle of February through the middle of May. You have to win that week in the conference tournament, and they didn't get that done. So, yeah, just LSU this year.
Yeah, it is amazing to see. All right, give me one team that is on nobody's radar this weekend that might pop up and surprise us somewhere across the country.
This is a bad answer to your question, but I feel pretty strongly about it, so I'll tell you. Georgia Tech is in Oxford, and they won the ACC this year, but didn't get a host because they got an easy draw. They didn't play Clemson or North Carolina, the best two teams in that league. But their coach has been there since 1994, and he's retiring after this year. Okay. And they can really hit home runs, and that's something that Ole Miss does too in that ballpark. I think Georgia Tech and Ole Miss in Oxford is very interesting. And Ole Miss is throwing their ace today against Murray State because Murray State's got a pretty good offense, and they feel like they need to take care of that first. So Ole Miss will have its ace out of the way by the time they make it to Georgia Tech tomorrow. I kind of like the Yellow Jackets to go to Oxford and win that regional. Which would be a huge story for Danny Hall, their head coach, on his way out.
Well, especially because they'd be paired with Georgia at the next level.
Yeah, and Georgia may have its hands full too. Duke can really hit, so that's going to be interesting. But I did not connect those dots that if Georgia Tech wins, they could go to Athens, which would be real spicy.
That would be awesome to see. He is Hunter Palmer. Okay, so you you're right in the thick of the opening of the game. You're going head to head today.
Yeah, I will do baseball from 1 to 2, and then when baseball starts at 2, unless there's a rain delay, I'll transition over to LSU football and the Saints for the last hour. And then once that music sounds at 2:56 and 50 seconds, I'll pack up my stuff and bolt to the box to do post game for LouisianaSports.net. So it'll be a full day, but I wouldn't have it any other way. This is one of my favorite days of the year.
The percentage of your attention that will be on the second half of your show will be what?
6%.
You catch John Palmer 1 to 3 over on 104.5, and of course LSU baseball on Eagle 98.1. We'll see you in a bit, Hunt.
All right, Brian. See you.
Later. 8:53. We blew right past your money now. I don't care. It's regional weekend. I'm ready to roll. It's time for some baseball. Quick break. Come back. We will wrap up the show next. The only thing, when you have a morning show, you never have to go head to head with any sport. I've seen during conference play or during conference tournament play, Moon get interrupted because of softball.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, not something we really have to worry about. Awesome.
I'm like, Hunt, record it, dude. Like you have that studio to yourself while Charles and Jimmy are over at Ruffino's.
Yeah.
You have the Miami Vice theme? Can you grab the Miami Vice theme?
Yeah. You want that as a bumper coming in?
Do I want that or do I want In the Air Tonight? Yeah, do the Miami Vice theme coming back in as the bumper.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. 8:58, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. About to get out of here. We're supposed to talk about hurricane season in this last segment, but a little nod to the Miami Vice music right there. Man, I was over at Vex European yesterday. VexEuropean.com to set up your appointment. I was over there yesterday to get my car taken care of. Just standard maintenance, nothing wrong. When you buy a European vehicle, you want to get not just the most in the performance out of it, but the longevity as well. That's what we're shooting for here because I have an 18-year-old car. But got to walk around in the actual shop area where they do a lot of the work. I went looking for Ferraris. And I got a video up. It's on my Facebook page. I'll probably share it over to Talk's Facebook page as well. No Ferraris yesterday. 2 vintage Porsches that I got to see. Vinny hit me up later on. He's like, hey, I'll let you in a special room next time where he keeps all the good stuff. There's a gorgeous picture of the most beautiful exotic vehicles out there. So if your mechanic can take care of Sonny Crockett's Ferrari, he could take care of your Beamer. That's right. If your mechanic can take care of Magnum PI's Ferrari, he can take care of your Mercedes, your Land Rover, your Jaguar. If your mechanic can take care of James Bond's Aston Martin, he can handle your Audi. VexEuropean.com. When we next meet, when we reconvene on Monday, we will know if LSU is going to a super regional and who they are playing. It will also be hurricane season. Sunday is June 1. June 1 is the beginning of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. As it stands right now, there are tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days. But this is when we start paying attention. This is when it starts getting ramped up. So come Monday, it'll be a much bigger topic. All right, we got to get out of here. Moon's next. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. All right, Facebook. This is the part where Rocco's going to cut up his po' boy and share it with all of. Nope, not even happening because he's a bum on the beach. LA, I like to drive in rain. Now I got to go find another date to get him on here because we got people lined up, and he's not going to like waiting in line. He's not going to like waiting in line. He's going to. I can't do nothing for you, man. Choices were made.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing along today. For those of you who normally listen on the app, number one, the app should be back up and running. But number two, I appreciate you finding us over here on Facebook Live. Hopefully you enjoyed it, played around a little bit with the rest of the glorified crew. I wasn't in there as much as I should be on a Friday, but the interaction is always fun as well. So if you liked your Facebook experience, we're there every day. And we'll see you on Monday. Later on.